I'm Matt.
I'm Zach, and this is The Anatomy of.
On this podcast, we listen to prog metal and rock songs.
Usually.
And break it down.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. We took a little break due to COVID reasons, work reasons, life reasons, but we're back. I'm Zach.
I'm Matt.
And we're going to go over Mastodon today.
Mastodon.
So, cool thing about this band is that they're awesome. And they've been awesome for a while. Two of them are actually originally from Rochester and went to Victor schools. Bron Daler, the drummer, and Bill Kelleher, the rhythm guitarist.
Very nice.
Both were from Victor. Did you know that?
You've told me. Like, we've gone to some... No, I've seen them once. You've probably seen them more times. You'll bring this up later, probably. But, yeah, you had said that they were Victor graduates, definitely.
Every time I see them, whether it's in Rochester or even Buffalo, even in Buffalo, they're like, "Hey, guys, we're from down the road. Y'all like some garbage plates?" And it's always hilarious. They moved down to, like, Atlanta, I guess, and met Troy and Brent, who are the bassist / vocals and... lead guitar / vocals later on, as you'll hear. And they started a band after meeting at a show, which is kind of cool.
What band were they seeing?
I think it was High on Fire. I don't think I've listened to much High on Fire, but I believe it's a High on Fire show they met at. And they were actually a 5-piece back in the day.
Okay.
Which was interesting.
Rhythm guitar and lead guitar?
No, they had rhythm. Well, they have that now, but they had... Oh. Troy started at the beginning. Troy, the bassist, was the singer. But prior to that, they were a 5-piece. They had their own separate singer. And I forget why he left.
Oh, okay. But, so now they're 4-piece.
Right. So now they're a 4-piece.
Rhythm, lead, bass, drums, but then they have people singing as they play instruments. Right. Gotcha.
So, I watched their video, what is it, the DVD they put out way back when, the Workhorse Chronicles, and they were talking about that, and I forget why the guy left, but there's, like, old, like, handycam footage of, like, a show they're playing in, like, a basement with, like, as a 5-piece, and it's absolutely nuts. Their first album came out in 2002 called Remission, but prior to that, they had an album called Call the Mastodon. I don't know if that was the original name, because they did end up releasing that after, and those were the songs they wrote as a 5-piece. Okay. So Remission was all just a 4-piece, and Troy took over singing. And I think we're gonna do 2 parts to this, right? We're gonna split this up into 2 separate parts now to kind of make this more digestible.
We'll see how long this is.
Okay.
Maybe we'll digest this as a single episode. We'll have to see in the post production when I handle
fix that in editing. I picked 4 songs because they're shorter too. They're not like 9-minute epics. They do have 9-minute epics, but I sort of chose 4 different songs to kind of span over their career.
Okay. So
kind of 2 from the beginning and 1 from like the middle and 1 from the most recent, which should be pretty fun. So I guess what I want to do first is introduce the first song, which is going to be Burning Man off of Remission.
What album? Like what chronologically? What?
This is their first. This is their debut album.
Is this their debut or their debut on like a major record?
I think their debut on a major record, because they did have that EP before, but they released it later as like a thing where I think they re-recorded all the songs as the 4-piece, but they were songs that they wrote as the 5-piece. That album is heavy as shit. Like, and the way the thing about Mastodon that's cool is like they've changed a lot. They've evolved their sound over the years.
Hopefully we'll be able to see that in this podcast.
Oh, you will. I specifically chose songs to go all that way. But, like, it's always definitively Mastodon, and I think that's really cool because sometimes bands change their sound. They don't even sound like the same thing.
Right.
You know, or they sound like a shittier version of what they used to be. And this has just been, like... Some of their albums, in the 2010s around there, I didn't like too much. They're good, but I didn't like the albums as a whole. But like when I see them live and they wrap those songs into the set list, like you can't even tell. It just works.
Right.
It works because they all sound. They have their own definitive sound.
And you're allowed to not like love a piece of you're allowed to not love the whole album. Like maybe they have good songs in it, but when you listen to it in its entirety, if it's a great band, it might just not stack up to some of their better work. And that's all that could be happening.
Right. But the first song is Burning Man. This one's pretty heavy and cool. It's short and sweet. The thing I want you to listen to throughout all of this is Bron Daylor, the drummer. An interesting bit about him. He learned how to play drums while jamming with a lead guitar player instead of like a rhythm or a bass player.
Okay.
So like he is always doing fills, just like always. Like whereas a normal drummer would get into a groove,
right?
And later in the career, you can hear him. He like gets in a groove, but he's still doing those fills.
Yeah.
But like earlier, it's just a fucking madman the whole time. The whole time, it's great. It's great. You'll definitely hear that on the second song. But let's play Burning Man. So immediately, I just love how groovy it is, but it's also like super heavy. And I think that's just sort of like, it's like southern rock mixed with like metal, mixed with like just the tone of the guitars is like a little bit twangy.
Yeah.
With the heaviness.
Would you call that their characteristic Mastodon tone?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, like I said, it changes up, but the tone for sure. Like they definitely just have that. I don't know what they do. I don't know enough about all the guitar nerddom. But yeah, that's definitely their characteristic sound. You'll hear it throughout all the songs.
All right. I wouldn't say there's a groove just yet, but I think I'm still getting smacked in the face with the drums. It's just like doom 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 doom, and I'm having a hard time hearing the groove. But I guess when you sing it so lovely, like
I sound just like the recording.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Zach, I'm trying to find lyrics, but I must not have the right lyrics because I'm not hearing any of these.
You might have the Dirk Bentley song up.
No, it says Burning Man song by Mastodon.
Interesting.
Coals underfoot burst into flames. I thought I heard that part.
Coals underfoot.
Yeah.
Like that.
Become the earth's ashes, remain awaiting sand. And I don't know if you've got the same lyric sheet as I do, but is it basically like 8 lines and those are all the lyrics?
Yeah. If you open up a link, it says verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus. So they just repeat.
Nice.
This is definitely a debut, I guess. I think I remember something about like Troy took over singing, but he might not have liked it.
Okay.
But like he was the only one that could like scream or something.
Okay.
To do the sound, and they just like rolled with it. So like he might have not like put a lot of effort into the lyrics.
Troy is still
Troy's the
one
bassist.
of the singers in the band.
Troy's the bassist. He was the one who sang like the first 2 to 2.5 albums.
Okay.
And then later on Crack the Sky, they sort of opened it up. The drummer sings, Bron sings.
I really like
Brent
the
sings at some
drummer's
point.
voice, I think. He's the one that sings the chorus.
He sings a lot of clean stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And Brent, the lead guitar, sings a lot of like, but it sounds way better. Sounds way better with the music.
You're way more knowledgeable about this band.
And Bill just plays guitar.
It's weird listening to them because if you don't know all that stuff, you kind of imagine one person doing all of those parts.
Because that's what traditionally bands do.
Right, scream and sing, but they're equal, sharing the love.
Yeah, they're a band. They're a real band.
What?
Yeah.
No way. All right, let's get back to some more of this band.
That riff is so fucking sick.
You guys don't have the vision at home because this is a podcast. I'm not sure if you knew if it was a podcast or not. But I'm sitting at the desk with Zach. Oh, by the way, we're recording this together for the first time, guys.
Vaccinations work, baby.
Woo! Fully vaccinated. And I'm sitting here and I'm just like literally just shaking my head side to side because it's just fun to do that when there's heavy music on in the background.
You hear the drums though?
Yeah, and the riff just the riff just got into my soul a little bit there.
And just the way he switches up the drum part, but the riff is the same. Yes. That rhythmic modulation, is so cool.
Love it.
So cool. I only know rhythmic modulation because the band I was in that never played a show that we wrote 1.5 songs. The drummer always used it, and then he explained what it was. And I can't explain it, but I know it when I hear it.
Oh shit! I was just gonna say, Zach, explain rhythmic modulation.
You just know it. You just know it when you hear it, because like the song's going, and the drummer just starts playing sort of like a totally different groove, but it still works with the same riff, and it's really cool.
So I don't want to teacher you right now, but what are you trying to say that rhythmic modulation is when you have multiple rhythms going on at the same time between different instruments?
Maybe. I can't explain it. I just know that was it.
Okay.
I pointed at the speaker.
Yeah, rhythmic modulation.
Right there. It just happened.
Okay.
Do you hear how he just is constantly doing fills?
Yeah.
On the snare and everything?
Definitely. It's
like hilarious. Because it's just so wonky and weird, but he's just going ham like all the time, 24/7.
Yeah, there's not much... did you say the word groove early in this song?
Yeah.
I have a hard time using that word because I think I apply groove...
to the drums.
To the drums syncing with the bass and creating like a driving this is a driving beat, but it is not,
but it's like, caused by the rhythm of the guitars. That's what's weird. Because like he's like driving the beat with the bass drum that goes with the rhythm of the riff, but then he's like just playing jazz fills like while the song is going on.
He's doing rapid fills. As a bass player, I'm looking for more of like a boom, 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 ba-doom, boom, 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 ba-doom. And then the drum can add to that a little bit. He's just going bam, 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 brr, bam, 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 bam.
Right. But it like works. And that's like where that's like their signature style is like they're all just kind of weirdos. And it's awesome.
Their style is that they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Matt's got the stank face. That's the highest. Yeah. That's the highest award you can give any musician is making that stank face.
Yeah, that
he's like I think I could use a change right. Oh, I saw it in your face.
Right,
saw it in your face.
No, that part was dirty. That part was real dirty. I liked that a lot.
We should back it up.
We're gonna back it up.
Let's back it up. How do we go back a little bit? Let's see what happens here.
Baby. We had some old school thrash in there. That was pretty delightful. Zach, out of 5 stars, what do you give this song?
I'm bad at this because everything I like is like all in.
Can I give you more stars? Can I give you 10 stars, 15 stars?
No, not really. Just
you
because
just say
I
you
like it, so like it's just I'm gonna give it 5 stars because I like it.
Okay, I give it 4. I give it 4 stars. That's like a general I like it kind of score. But that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that song quite a bit. So that's from their first album, yes?
Remission, yep.
First album, Remission.
And I'm sorry to the fans of Mastodon. I skipped over Leviathan just because I'm trying to get a good cross-section of everything. Leviathan is like a really good album. They
don't even know you skipped it until you said now.
Well, because I'm going to say...
All right. You're apologizing ahead of time.
Right. Because the next song we're going to go to is Capillarian Crest on Blood Mountain. But Leviathan, shout out to Leviathan. It's really cool. They basically... The first album is Fire, right? The second album is Leviathan. It's all about sea in the water, so it's water. The third album is Blood Mountain. That's the earth, right? Okay. And the fourth album is Crack the Sky. They put an E on the end of Sky because Braun's sister, I think, died. It might have been suicide, but I can't remember. It might have been a tragic death. Suicide is a tragic death anyway. But it's like a homage to his sister, Sky, who was named Sky with an E on the end. But that's the air. So they tried to do with the first 4 albums. I don't know if it was intentional or they just realized it later. But they kind of have the fire, sea, earth, and air, which is kind of cool.
When does the Planet, Captain Planet album come out?
He comes out with Heart. And that's what this podcast is, man.
Oh my God. All right.
By your powers combined, I am a super hippie.
Nice. So, song number 2 is from what album?
From Blood Mountain in 2006.
Okay.
And this is called Capillarian Crest. This is a little bit more wild with the guitars, as you'll hear in the intro.
Okie doke. Love it. Like it already.
You're being a real Zach right now.
I'm sorry. But that's the role I get to play when you bring the songs. Yeah. I get to just be like the weirdo drinking beer
2 seconds
and just saying crazy stuff.
It.
Love it. Like it. I like the difference in styles from those 2 songs. Like the first one was just smack you directly upside the head, and then this song, I'm trying to see into the future here, but the song just seems a little bit more musically complex, which doesn't make it better. I just like the comparison between this and the last song.
Mm-hmm. This is why I chose it, to show kind of how they evolve their sound over time.
Nice.
So this whole album is about, like, they're climbing this mountain. They're climbing Blood Mountain, right? And they just, like, come across these various different things going on. There's a song called Colony of Birchmen, which is, like, about these, like, little tree people that are, like, walking around and shit.
Okay.
It's really fucking weird. I'm sure this is, like... I think this, like, gently falls into the stoner metal genre, too. They have a lot of crossover. I've never been one too much for subgenres because I just like what I like and... don't like what I don't like.
You like some weird shit though.
Yeah.
Like we played Genesis and I told you they have a whole song about the Slipper Men.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Alien people. I think of that every time I see that song title, like the Birchmen. I'm like, we're writing about weird shit now. Okay. Great.
3 Inches of Blood made up a robot army called the Wickedron. Hey, it's the Wickedron. We'll do 3 Inches of Blood sometime. They're fun. But yeah, I just dig I dig the concept albums. I dig the whole elemental things that they did. And, yeah.
Zach, what does Capillarian Carnate mean to you?
I have no idea. Capillarian, I think of capillaries, right?
That's where I go.
But I don't know if Capillarian is like a thing or something they just made up because it sounded cool.
Okay.
Or if it has to do with like, you know, it might be part of this mountain. There's like veins going up the mountain. Who knows, right? Blood mountain, capillaries, right?
Oh, shit.
Weed's legal in New York now, so maybe we need to get some edibles next time. I don't know.
Jesus.
But Capillarian Crest.
No edibles.
Going up Blood Mountain. There could be veins throbbing in the fucking mountain. Who knows?
All right. I'm good with that.
I noticed now that this is Brent singing in this lyrics here, which I guess I knew, but I didn't realize it started here. I always thought it started on Crack the Sky, but they started getting him in there a little bit earlier than I thought, which is cool.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what carnate is. Like, I know what incarnate is, right?
To be honest, I wish I could tell you that
I'm going to look it up right now.
I knew what that word meant, and I would tell you to your face that I knew what it meant, but then I was going in my brain, I was like, could I explain what incarnate means? And I cannot. I cannot do it. So do I really know what the word means if I can't explain it to someone? I would argue, nay.
Carnate is synonymous with incarnate, which in simplest terms typically means having a human body. So maybe they're talking about the mountain being alive. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah, the mountain's got capillaries and the mountain's alive. That's what we're going to go with. Mountain is alive.
Matt's face was just like, pause.
I've got nothing other than that's just like super fun, and I don't really know if you like music unless you like sections of songs like that. Like I don't know. That was just really cool.
Yeah, they're a really cool band.
Okay,
they get like the essence of like rock and motherfucking roll. You know what I mean? And like put it into like metal songs.
Yeah, but they're rock and motherfucking roll, but you're not going to find a breakdown like that in a ton of.
But that's what I mean. It's like
band.
They take the essence.
Oh, okay. They have the essence, but
the essence of rock and roll that they turned into metal, which like people, you know, obviously put them in the same category ish, but you know they're very, very different. But like the essence of that rock energy, but being more complex and intricate, is really cool to me, and that's kind of why I think they're a very unique band and have been. Like there's other bands that like sound like elements of Mastodon, you know, like Baroness and stuff like that. But Mastodon is very definitively Mastodon, and I think that's why they've been successful for so long. What do you think of that?
There's like a twang.
That's what I'm saying. It's like southern. Yeah. It's like southern rock.
No, and I've always felt that. I just
turned into something completely different.
It's like okay, so we just keep
southern rock. Okay, what do we got? We got stoner metal. We got heavy. We got heavy ass metal.
Right.
Shout out to Sean.
We had
some of that today.
We had thrash in the first song. We got
some thrash. We got some.
There's some progressive.
There's some prog, obviously.
Right. A lot of prog, but like, oh yeah, it's like progressive, southern rock and roll metal.
Yeah. It's cool.
All rolled into a nice package that we just called
Mastodon. That's like that one music video you were talking about.
Yes.
That's what they should have. They should just make a song called Mastodon. It's just a booty shaker.
If you guys, Zach and I don't watch a ton of music videos, and before we recorded this, I was telling Zach that I had them on my YouTube Music because Spotify doesn't work at where I work. So I was playing them on YouTube Music, and they had the music video in the back for one of their songs. And for one song, the entire music video is them playing with a whole bunch of women twerking in the background. And then another one, they just have a hilarious music video about a guy who worships noses and then like goes into outer space with the noses.
Obviously.
So,
but
like,
Mastodon, that should have been the name of the song.
Yes, it should have been. It should have definitely been Mastodon.
Yeah.
So let's move forward with Mastodon playing Capillarian Crest.
That was a hell of a run.
That was pretty sweet. That's just a fun little fill. So who is this guy singing? Because this is the guy, besides the instrumentals and the twanginess to the guitars and everything, but it's this guy that really gives them that southern vibe to me, because he sings like he's straight out of Tennessee.
It's either Brent, who's been singing the whole song, or it's Troy.
Okay.
Because I don't think you
can't identify the dude that has this.
I can't tell, because Troy normally screams and Brent normally does the like, but like they might have just like done a totally different voice for this part. And Braun is very definitive. You'll know him when you hear him in later songs. I don't know if I chose any songs with him on it, but he has his own very distinct, clean vocals that he does. So it's either Brent or Troy in my guess.
So you narrowed it down to 2 for me.
2 of 4, 50%.
Yeah, no, thank you for that.
Well, Bill doesn't really do anything, so really you got 2/3 of a chance.
Okay. No, that's great.
Bill doesn't do anything vocal-wise, I mean. He obviously does a lot otherwise.
Yeah. You basically just diminished a man's life work into nothing.
He's not going to hear this.
He's definitely going to hear this podcast.
Well, I love you, Bill, and thanks for being awesome.
Okay, that was much better.
Matt's got the stank face again. I love it.
Yeah, it's the stylistic changes within a song, which is very prog, like we've mentioned it a million times in this show. I just really like when they go back to the thrash a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just very simple guitar riffs, very easy to follow. After something exactly opposite of that, it just makes for a very fun, interesting listen.
I think it's cool because, like, compared to the first song you can tell they're very talented, but, like, it's more straightforward.
It's incredibly straightforward.
You wouldn't think that same band is going to write a song like this as well. But also, you can 100% tell it's the same band doing the same thing.
Well, and they didn't have to. Like, some people would rest on their laurels, and that's a fun style of music to play that more. Yeah, they could have played that music for a while, but we're gonna get there, and we've been saying it a lot. They're definitely gonna change, and you can see the maturation musically in the differences between these two songs. But that's how you know it's Mastodon, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they go back to certain, like, I don't know, pillars of their sound, and they can, yeah.
I just love the drums, man. Like, I can't get over Bron. Like, he's just killing it, and then you hear, like, the little bell hits. Like, it's like... brrrr, ting, ting. Like, I just love it. In the middle of it, and it just keeps going, and he's just a madman. And he's one of my favorite drummers, for sure.
I haven't even listened a lot to the drums. I'm not going to lie.
That's fine. There's a lot going on.
To me, this is a guitar song. Like,
yeah.
And this is the first time I've heard this song. So for a lot of songs, especially for prog artists, you got to listen to them multiple times to hear the layers to that song.
That's what makes them fun.
Right.
You get a lot of you got a lot of value out of buying an album. You know, you're gonna listen to it 1,000 times.
Each listen is definitely going to be unique. But at this point, I have not focused on the drums a ton, so I'm going to try to do that while also trying to focus on all the other shit that's going on.
For 23 more seconds.
Right. Is that weird outer space thing like a fill to the next song on the album? Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes that could just be the end of the song and then they go...
Right.
If you know what I'm trying to say.
No, I know what you're saying. But yeah, that whole thing, they're just filling in the songs to the next thing.
Okay.
So up next, we have the song Divinations off of Crack the Sky. So this album is sort of like their masterpiece, right? Like, all these bands, you know, they put out a few albums and then they have their, like, this is the album when we've arrived.
Mr. Holland's Opus.
Right.
Great movie.
This is like Metallica's Master of Puppets, but for Mastodon. This is... You give an example, because I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
Killswitch Engage's Alive or Just Breathing.
Sure.
That would be their opus.
Exactly.
But, like, some bands have a couple of them.
Yeah.
But... Which can be argued, but yeah, they're hitting their zenith. They're at their peak powers.
Yeah.
They have evolved into whatever they're going to be. Although, like we said, this band is still constantly evolving and changing. So it might be the point where they kind of had that perfect storm of critical acclaim, amount of listeners, and like band creativity. And when all those things meet, people say that a band is at its greatest point. Sometimes the band creativity extends past peak listenership and critical acclaim, but like that doesn't necessarily mean it was... I'm putting worse in quotation marks right now, but when all those things line up, people generally just go, okay, that was their best.
So this isn't like... This is the second track. It's only about 3 minutes, but they have like a 13-minute song on here with 4 different movements on this album. All sorts of different stuff.
Early thoughts. What do you got? What do you like so far?
I like that I'm pretty sure it starts with a banjo.
It's definitely a banjo or a small guitar. Yeah, it's unique.
And it sort of like kicks you in the balls. Like it's like a little bit of weird, and then you're like, oh, okay, let's go.
See, I've never said that a banjo melody has...
Well, no, the banjo stops. Like, you're not sure what the song's going to be, because it's like got a weird banjo intro.
Gotcha.
And that banjo intro actually is part of the outro of Oblivion, which is for right before it.
Okay.
And then it just like punches you in the nuts.
Okay. So the banjo intro kind of distracts you a little bit. It goes, hey, I'm here.
This is a transition.
I'm a banjo, and then everything else smacks you in the face. Got it. I've said smacks you in the face maybe 18 times during this podcast. Not 19, but maybe 18.
So 18, the amount of games the Sabres lost in a row.
Oof, yeah.
Nobody beats them 19, though. Nobody beats them 19 in a row. Nobody.
That are not what we would call a good team.
Well,
Zach.
Things are changing, man. But anyway, that's for a different podcast.
We can talk a little hockey.
Let's get back into it. Are you worried about the word Callisti?
Yes, I am. I was like, we're definitely going to hit this part of the song where they talk
Well, what do you think about the music so far?
Callisti.
I'll look up what Callisti is while you talk about the music.
So, this is like their... I hate to use this word. This to me is like their catchy phase.
Yeah. This song, but it's still... You see what I mean about like the tone of the guitars?
But it's fucking Mastodon.
Yeah. Like... It's totally different, but it's definitely them.
We for a song like this, it would be interesting to have like a third person that we just bring in for like a guest listener, because both of us listening to rock, metal, progressive rock, we hear a song like this and we go, well, that's a catchy little tune. Someone that doesn't typically listen to this style of music would sit down and be like, oh, that's
same
your metal.
It's the same.
Like I would think...
Like the person at the bar who gets mad that you put on Black Sabbath because they hate death metal.
Right.
Because it's all just the same.
So that part has always been really interesting to me, and I don't know, self-conscious isn't the right word, but I try to be aware sometimes of like the music I'm listening to, because I know like society around me doesn't necessarily love certain songs that I have on, but like I would classify this song as like... This is oversimplifying, but like easy listening metal. This is not hurt your ears metal.
It's still there's a lot going on with the guitars still,
of course.
And there's multiple vocalists. We got Brent going in, and then Bron, the drummer, is on the chorus going no escape.
And they're talking about bending space time, dude. Space time.
So I looked up Killist, right, or Cleist. Cleist or Cleisti, or whatever he said, was an underground spiritual Christian sect which split from the Russian Orthodox Church and existed from the 1600s until the late 20th century.
That's a Jeopardy answer that I'm going to want to get whenever I play Breed next.
Yeah. So now, back in context of the song here, rapid descendants, the wormhole is empty, the center of Callisti surrounds me, the fire is dancing in the silvery sheet of breath.
This is lyrics that we haven't gotten to yet. The last line. The fire is dancing in the silvery sheet of breath.
Let's just talk about it because it's going to come up, right? So, sheet of breath, black robe, necromancing, summon the soul of the specter. So, divinations.
Okay.
Sort of witchcrafty, right?
Yep.
Maybe they're sort of witchcrafty, pagan, doing whatever the hell, and they're being attacked by the Killists. Who are like, you're blaspheming. You know, they're maybe burning them at the stake, right? The fire is dancing in a silvery sheet of breath. Or maybe they're burning other people, sacrificial. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
literally the image for Killist, I think, were like them sacrificing somebody. Actually, let me look this up again.
Killists were real people that built things underground for them to do their worshipping in.
I don't know. It looks like some sort of weird cult thing.
Yeah. It's not lovely. I'll give you that.
Beliefs and practices. Killisti renounced priesthood, holy books, and veneration of the saints. They believed in a possibility of direct communication with the Holy Spirit and of its embodiment in living people. Each of their leaders was a living god, quote unquote. And each congregation, or ark, quote unquote, had its own Christ and Mother of God, appointed by the overall leader of the sect. So, there's a lot going on here. It seems that they were Christian, but they believed that there could be multiple Christs and
no. Did it say that they were taking form of Christ, or like Christ was possessing
them? They believed
them?
that their leaders, each of their leaders was a quote living God, and each congregation, so the group of them, had its own Christ and Mother of God appointed by the overall leader of the sect.
Because I was gonna say, I hear like televangelist, like almost when they speak in tongues, they say they're speaking in.
Well, these guys are obviously very.
Yeah, but this is televangelist like times 28.
Right.
Like this is the televangelist actually thinking that they're a living embodiment of.
So
God.
rapid descendants. That can kind of go hand in hand with like living gods, right?
Sure.
Like rapid descendants of God is just like, oh, you're a living God. You're my Christ. You're my Mary, right?
The wormhole is empty, so there's nowhere.
The center of Kilisty surrounds me. This is interesting. I want to watch a whole documentary on this.
What, the lyrics?
No, the Kilisty. Kilists or whatever.
I'm going to be honest, Zach. I don't know where they're going. It seems like they're word dropping. Like, they probably have a meaning in mind, but they're being purposely vague with the structure of these lyrics, where, like, obviously there's a theme. We're grasping at a theme. We can't get much further than that.
This is about air, so maybe this is just about overall space and time and interesting with the religious sect of people. And maybe that's supposed to be like a, what am I trying to say?
It feels like a lyric word vomit.
Well, yeah, but like, so is like everything.
No, but like, sometimes they have a coherent thought throughout the song, where this is just like, these are the things I'm thinking about now, while this music is on, and it doesn't necessarily have to follow a start to finish kind of like.
Well, yeah, I think it's more ambiguous. But, like, think about Burning Man lyrics. There was 2 verses that they just repeat, like, 6 times.
I completely ignored the lyrics to that song.
Right.
We didn't even try to go into those.
But, I don't know. No escape, blinding spirits. No escape, trapped in time, space.
So I think can't get away.
It's something about... yeah, like, I think it's... I can vaguely see where they're going, but, like, I don't... Maybe that's the point. Like, it's just up to your own interpretation.
So we're going to move on. We're going to see if the guitars help us. This is where the drummer's groove comes in. This is where Stella got her groove back. Like, he's not as intentionally aggressive with his drumming. I'm not even saying which one is better or worse. But when you listen to this song, there is a consistent, more restrained drum beat, which helps this to be a little bit more of a catchy song. In the songs before, when he's just going, wah, it's not as...
Well, there's wacky time signatures, there's wacky stuff on
He's
purpose.
He's just going, ba-da-da, 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 ba-da-da.
Yeah.
I just really like song breakdowns. I have noticed that my pursed lip face always comes when like a song changes to either chorus or a little bit of a breakdown with the instrumentals, and that's when I just you can't make a song all breakdown because then you wouldn't appreciate it as much. But
well, it's like how you need bad things in your life to appreciate the good things.
Definitely. But like,
not that they're good and bad, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You appreciate the differences because the differences exist.
And I'm not going to lie, I listened to metalcore for a large time in my life. Their breakdowns are way simpler than this, but I'm seeing, even listening to this song, that like there must be like a human instinct to want to have that part of the song where you kind of...
Same thing with like a bass drop and like in electronica and stuff.
And yeah, this would be the
or
bass
EDM,
drop.
I guess the kids
the
call
bass
it
drop
now.
to a Mastodon song. Like they've changed the rhythm up just enough to let you just like groove to it a little bit, and then they go back into the main song.
The tone, it sounds like a surf guitar.
What would a surf guitar be?
Miserloo. You know Miserloo?
No.
Oh.
Is that a song? It's called Miserloo?
Yeah. Or I might be pronouncing it wrong, but I think it's Miserloo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you just sang.
Obviously the song isn't a surf song, but listen to the guitar tone because it's totally the same as a surf song.
It's the rapid succession of notes. I feel like that's what's giving you the surf vibe, and I just heard it in that last little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all. The rapid succession of notes is what's giving me that vibe, and I kind of like it, but I don't know if I like that I just pointed it out, because then I feel like that's all I'm going to be able to listen to moving forward. But we'll see. Does that lead directly into the next song?
Yeah, the whole thing is one big concept album.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Crack the Sky.
Yeah.
Nice.
But their others, I think I never listened to too much Coheed and Cambria, but they had a narrative throughout their whole albums, right?
Yes.
This, I don't think they have a narrative throughout the album, but the themes are what's conceptual rather than telling a story. I feel like I didn't like Coheed and Cambria way back when because of the vocals, but now I kind of dig songs that have those vocals, so I feel like I should just totally listen to all of Coheed and Cambria now.
I have always liked their stuff. They're not as cool as Mastodon are, but they're incredibly talented. Yeah. So if you give them the couple listens, even on their really catchy shit, they're just really good musicians. And the lyricist, he's basically made all of his albums
Claudio, right?
Yeah, a sci-fi odyssey that...
He has a comic book and stuff, too,
yeah. To be honest, as a listener, I've never even followed where they go with any of those themes. I just love the epic guitar of them.
Yeah.
I've grown to appreciate his voice. I'll tell you, the first time I heard them, I was like, what is that, a 12-year-old girl singing these songs? But after that... you can just appreciate all the musicality. They've had a couple lineup changes. Maybe we'll do them in a podcast episode. But they're fun, and they go into different stuff.
Them and, the Mars Volta, too. Everybody loved the Mars Volta.
Yes.
And At the Drive-In, which is them before they were the Mars Volta.
Yeah.
Never liked it. But, now, I hear a song come up on Spotify, and I'm just like, why didn't I listen to this? This is great. I missed the boat. Same thing with Tool. I didn't like Tool till, 5 years ago. And then I'm like, hey, guys, you ever hear this song? And they're like, yeah, I listened to that 20 years ago. What the fuck? But
I put them on the other day. I actually was playing them as Brie and I drove to Green Lake State Park in Syracuse. And it's one of those things where, I never disliked their songs. Mm-hmm. I heard the Tool singles, and they were great.
Right.
But, I never was... I don't know. I guess me personally, I think... I spent too much time trying to listen to what was popular at the time. Mm-hmm. I didn't listen to it a ton. Maybe not even as much as other people, but that takes up space in your brain.
Yeah.
That definitely left out Tool and left out the Mars Volta and left out other, really cool stuff.
So, what do you think of Divinations?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It fits into Catchy Mastodon, which I can listen to Catchy Mastodon all day.
The album as a whole is really good, front to back.
Yeah.
I just chose that one because it was again, they're kind of you kind of see where they're going, as they evolve more.
Yeah.
But that's not indicative of that album either. Like there's a bunch of stuff going on.
No, and I've heard other stuff of theirs from that time period, and I like
this
it all.
This is 2009, I believe, was that album.
But as someone who, if my rock tastes were compared to yours, I probably listen a little bit more to the singles than you would on an album. But they're, like, stuff like that song, you could put that on 24/7, and I would be good.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that's as good as you can say about a song. Like, I just really, really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Nothing to write home. That's almost like I'm knocking the song. Nothing stood out, but the whole thing was fantastic as a whole.
Right.
The whole was greater than the sum of its parts.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So this last song is North Side Star off of Cold Dark Place, which was an EP they put out the same year they came out with a full-length album. I forgot what it is. Like, you
played this for me on the way to a Syracuse game in 2016 or 2017.
It was 17 when it came out, yeah.
The
whole EP is like amazing. It's like it's kind of like a 25-minute song.
It's 4 songs, right?
It's 4 songs, but it's like they're kind of all just flow so well together that it's kind of like a 25-minute epic. This is the first song off of that EP. I skipped a bunch of albums. I liked The Hunter that came out after Crack the Sky. I liked that album mostly. There's a couple that like I don't know what they're doing really, but I liked it overall. I think Once More Around the Sun came out after that. And again, I listened to it a couple times and it was good, but it didn't give me that feeling of like early Mastodon's heaviness.
Is that the one with the skeleton on the front?
That's like the big weird monster that's like
oh, okay.
The Mother Lode that you had up when I got here, that one.
What's the one with the
That's Emperor of Sand, I think is the name of the album. What are your thoughts? That might be a song. That album I liked a lot more. It seemed like they were kind of going back to where they were.
They got a really big single off of that album.
See, I don't even pay attention to that. I don't even know that like happens.
Okay.
It's weird.
Okay.
But I liked that album a lot comparatively to the few that came out before it. I thought that there was a lot more essence of their earlier stuff. But it still definitely was their newer stuff. But I don't hate their newer stuff either. It's very weird because like a band like Metallica, like after the Black Album, they like totally
garbage.
It was just like it was like they just changed to rock, and it was like good rock music. But like nobody wants rock music. You're not Rock-Talica, right? Like you want fucking 80s thrash back, and they just like totally sold out to do the 90s. So like, fuck those guys. But. But, like, this band, you can see the evolution throughout them growing up. And I think that happens with all of us, too. Like I'm 34 now, and when I was 22, I didn't like the Mars Volta.
Right.
But now I do.
Right. And that's okay.
And that's just how your tastes change.
Right.
Not necessarily change. I think they just broaden.
Right.
And I just like the way where they've gone. This song is really rad. It's not... This album even sounds, like, totally different. But I like that it's a little EP on the side because it doesn't tell me that they're changing their sound.
It tells me that
they just wanted to do an experimental little thing, and they had the songs, and they put it out the same year as Emperor of Sand, which is really cool. Again, I don't know if that's the album Emperor of Sand or if that was the single.
I think you're right with
but I think it was Emperor of Sand. Yeah. But they have a new album out that has one new track, and it's a compilation otherwise of like rare recordings, like live songs.
Oh, I've listened to it.
There's a couple of covers.
They did a Leonard Skinner cover.
Yeah. I haven't listened to it, but I saw
a Led Zeppelin cover. Sorry.
I saw it out, and I was looking at it. The song though, the one new song, the opening I remember is very heavy, but I don't remember the rest of the song. Right. But this is from the EP 2017. North Side Star, right?
North Side Star is the name
North
of the song.
North Side Star is the name of the song. Off Cold Dark Place is the name of the EP.
There we go. Medieval vibes right off the bat. They got a harpsichord or...
There's like slide guitar and shit.
Whatever the fuck.
It's like totally weird, but it's like it's still proggy, but in a totally different way.
I mean... a song could not sound more proggy off the bat. They're going to add layers to this.
Right.
But you hear the first 5 seconds of this, and this sounds like early 70s Genesis. Like, it sounds like they're about to take you on a tour of the English countryside. The voices are so unique.
And they change. They change like throughout their whole career. Instead of just like Troy committing to being like, okay, this is what we're putting ourselves in a hole. I'm just going to scream, because I'm sure that he didn't know what he was doing, because I really believe from memory from 15 years ago that he like didn't really like doing the screaming because he didn't really know what he was doing, and he just kind of got thrown into it because like the band member left or they kicked him out or whatever, and this is just like what they had to do.
We scream and we need
instead of just like figuring that out, he was just like, let's just, the band was just like, let's fucking do whatever we want. We don't have to be we don't have to pigeonhole ourselves, which I think is good. It can bite you in the ass like Metallica, but I feel like Metallica's was driven by money, whereas Mastodon is just driven by creativity. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and they got some creativity thrown in there.
Yeah, like this song does not sound like Burning Man at all, but this song is cool as fuck.
Yeah. This song was also not one of their like highest selling songs either. So like at the sake of creativity, you're not going to get as many people to listen to it. But like we like it. We think it's great.
Right.
There's that prominent slide guitar.
And it sounds so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, every time I've heard slide guitar in my entire life, I guarantee you I would tell the song to fuck right off.
Wow, every time.
Yeah. It's always just like, I'll fucking drink my beer and I'll go watch the stars.
So hold on, we need to pause right now.
My truck
so we have said that this band has heavy Southern rock vibes. We put it in the group of musical genres that they kind of combine. They combine Southern rock, thrash, regular rock and roll, and some metal. Prominent. You are basically telling me by saying that you hate all slide guitar. Let me finish my phrase. That, like, do you shit on, like, all old school Southern rock? Because, like,
I'm mainly talking about bad country songs where it's just like bullshit, and then just out of nowhere it's just like, you know what I'm talking about. You know the songs I'm talking about.
I didn't at first, and now I know.
I'm talking about the garbage ass country music with no sort of substance in the music or lyrics. That is very popular.
Because I can get down to some like 1970s Southern rock and roll.
Yeah,
and
of course.
That has a lot of that slide guitar in it. So that's why I wanted to
I'm talking about where like there's literally they play a power chord on a guitar, and the guy with the super deep voice just says some shit, and then there's just a wow wow on the slide guitar. That song. Those songs are fucking garbage.
Okay, I'll agree. Those songs suck.
Yes. So this chorus, Cold Dark Place, This is them bringing out their emotions. I'll tell you what.
They're in their feels.
They're in their feels. The countdown's begun. The world is ending. Where are we now? And what have we done? And how will I know that you are the one? That they're going through it. No wonder the whole album's called Cold Dark Place. They're not doing well.
Can I be devil's advocate right now?
Yeah, that's the point of this podcast.
I feel like I could have wrote those lyrics.
Yeah, of course. I also agree.
But again, we've
established that one, Matt and Zach don't usually even pay attention to lyrics for these reasons.
I agree.
Two, Mastodon has not had good lyrics in all the songs that we've looked up. We like the Killistry. That was cool. But that's just them being smarter than us. That doesn't mean that they wrote good lyrics. We didn't even know what was going on in that song.
And we don't even know they're smarter than us. They probably just looked up that.
I mean, they're probably smarter because they write really complex songs with really complex rhythms.
Fuck that. I could beat them in Jeopardy. But they probably looked up those words. But that's okay.
Mastodon, if you hear this and you want to fight Matt, come back home.
Well,
we're not that far from your hometown.
I don't want to actually fight you. I just want to challenge you to a game of Jeopardy.
It would be cool.
We'll see what happens.
We'll play it at Anthology. Come back.
Or a game of bar trivia.
I want to watch you play again, please. Thanks.
We'll make it happen. But like, I kind of liked the lyrical structure of the last song. Like the fact that we sat there and we couldn't break it down, but it felt like a brain dump. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool.
Okay.
And I read those lyrics and I think I liked that because I couldn't write it. Mm-hmm. Now there are many start here, finish here lyric songs that I also couldn't write because they're so incredibly creative and conceptual, but still have a story, and I'm not capable of. But this one line, and I like it. I'm just being kind of a dick here. Like, the world is ending. What am I doing? How will I know what I'm doing? Mm-hmm. I miss you. That kind of, like, anyone can do that.
I agree. But I also think it accomplishes the goal of giving you the feel of the song.
So football analogy, then we can go back into the song. It's not overly complicated to run the fullback up the middle when we've got a 3rd and 1. Mm-hmm. But it gets you the job first done.
Right.
First down.
Right.
First done. First down. Yeah. All right. Back to the song.
Real quick back about the lyrics. The reason I don't care about lyrics too much is because I'm more into the music, and I have always kind of... What got me into metal is realizing that I'm going to listen to the lyrics and the vocals as another rhythm instrument. So the patterns they use and the melody, I concentrate on that more than the actual substance of the lyrics. Now, some bands, like Between the Buried and Me, in their song like Obfuscation, that is like so conceptual that you read the lyrics and you're like, man, like what does this mean? And you're thinking about it and you like kind of vaguely get it, but you know that they're not fucking with you either. Like it's not just like, it's not patronizing in a way that's like, oh, we're trying to be deep, but we're not. Like Tommy Rogers' fucking brain has some smart shit in it. And I want to know what it is. And when I read those lyrics, I'm like, what's going on here? In certain songs. I can't speak for every song, obviously. But with bands like Mastodon, I've never really concentrated on their lyrics, not even once until right now have I ever even looked up their lyrics.
Neither have I.
Right.
But it's really fun to do it.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
In short
I agree
instances.
for this. Yes. But what I'm saying is that even though this is obviously very easy, like anybody could have written that, I don't care because... the way they're singing it is cool as fuck with the music that's going on.
We can still use my fullback analogy.
Yeah, gets the job done.
And also, who doesn't like to watch a fullback run someone fucking over and get that first down?
Remember Mike Tolbert on the Bills?
Yes, I do.
I remember somebody tweeted out, they were like, oh, the ball's handed off to Mike Tolbert. He's at the 30. He's at the 29. He's at the 28. That shit was hilarious. Anyway, Mike Tolbert, thanks for helping us in the early days of the Bills starting to be good. All right, back to the song.
So while the song was playing, I was basically reiterating to Zach a vivid memory I have of listening to this EP, particularly this song, on a trip to Syracuse. And I was just telling him I appreciated it so much because I think just us as friends, he was starting to understand me as a person and then also like what I liked in music. And he could tell that I probably wasn't going to vibe with really, really, really early Mastodon, even though I can like some thrash here and there. But he knew that this was unique. This had its own vibe to it, and he was like, Matt will like this. And he put it on, and I was like, oh yeah. I haven't heard anything like this in a long time, particularly from a band known for, I don't know, for a heavy rock style. But as we've told you, I think you guys would agree, you go from song 1 to song 4. I don't know if many of you went, oh, did we change bands? Like, you can definitely tell it's the same band.
And that's what's wild. It's like, it's so different, but it's so still them. They somehow capture, they know what makes them them, and they own it. And that's awesome. Because that lets them be creative without being accused of selling out. Like, I don't see this, like, even though this is softer, this isn't selling out to, like, battle with Maroon 5 on the radio.
No.
And not even Divinations. Like, Divinations was easy.
They're taking a hit with this.
Right. Maybe not, though. Like, their fans are their fans, right? Like, they're going to hear this.
True. So they can do something. But they're
also veterans of the industry.
This isn't going on the radio.
Right.
This never was on the radio. Like, they're doing this to do this.
Right.
What else was I going to add? Oh, I was going to say that, like, I was trying to identify what makes you know that this is Mastodon, and I think I keep going back to their fucking voices, although there's like 3 of them.
So and they do different voices too.
It's crazy that they're changing their voices. There's 3 different ones, but when I hear a voice, I think of one of these guys. I think Mastodon. They're so unique, and it's probably because they don't do that just generic metal growl.
Right.
They have variations on that, and then they have I don't know, so cool. And then the guitar tone, and then the southern rock behind the metal is probably the 2 things that I would say, all right, you put a song on and I know it's Mastodon within like 10 seconds. So yeah, I was just thinking about that in the background.
The fact that this is what I'm talking about. This slide guitar is used so differently than those shitty country songs where it's just like filler. This is like creating the whole ambiance of the whole song. And then the way that they put the lyrics,
you could argue that the slide guitar, you could argue that the slide guitar in those shitty country songs is creating the ambiance
of a
shitty
country song. Right.
But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I know what you're saying though. Like that. The way they've been utilized in what I've heard mostly is just like random twangs with nothing else underneath it. It's just like a fill.
This has depth.
Right. This is like they like came up with the slide guitar and wrote a song around it, basically. It's like the feature almost.
Right.
In a way. And I just love, I don't know, like I said, the lyrics I don't really care about, but the way they sing it, I'm just this whole song is just us repeating ourselves over and over again, I guess.
We had a different point there.
Yeah. Sure.
We'll try to be unique after the next little piece of music. So we were just appreciating, even though I was going devil's advocate with this little repeated section of their lyrics where they go, the countdown's begun, the world is ending. They don't say the world is ending. They go, the countdown's begun, the world is ending. Like,
it sounds better.
Little syncopation.
Yeah, the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I wasn't trying to sing it, Zach.
Well, you should.
All right, next time I'll try to sing it.
No, but that's exactly it. Is like the words don't matter because the way that they're making the words work with the rhythm and the melody
It's an instrument.
Is what adds to the song. Who gives a shit about the words in this instance?
Some people do. Like some of our listeners actually do care about the words.
3 of the 4, or 2 of the 7.
It's 2 of the 7.
Okay.
Definitely 2 of the
7. So 2/7. 2/7 of you disagree with us.
So the last little line of this song before they start repeating their lyrics, they went, "You and I, we could expire right here and now, wouldn't matter at all." Once again, not going to win you a Pulitzer, but if co-host Matt is in his feels right now, I've been in those moments where like you're literally like so content, so happy, so in the moment that like literally if you died then you could almost be happy. You could be complete with what you're experiencing in that moment.
And it wouldn't matter at all.
Yeah, you don't have to overwrite that. Like you could try to overwrite that, but I don't know. And the twang, the tone of this song puts you in that moment.
Well, like, remember, I mentioned in the past, I think about existentialism like 15% of my time. And this song is just like, yeah, like, again, the words they chose are very literal, and that's fine, because, like, you and I, we could expire right here and now, wouldn't matter at all. Yep, that's how I feel a lot of the time. It's just the abyss waiting for you. And sometimes that's comforting.
Well, that is not how I interpreted those lyrics,
I know. That's why I'm saying my point, because it's different than what you were saying.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. You're saying, like, oh, I'm so happy, I could just die and it'd be fine. I'm seeing it like, no, man, like, shit is not okay, because nothing we're doing matters, and eventually you die, and the world keeps turning. There was an episode.
Holy shit.
There was an episode of Growing Pains. I think this is where my existentialism started. And I was probably homesick watching this episode of Growing Pains where Mike Seaver was homesick.
Okay.
Did you watch a lot of Growing Pains?
I watched it when it was on.
Okay.
I was not a serial watcher.
There's an episode where Mike Seaver's homesick. He probably faked, because, Mike Seaver be Mike Seaver.
Yeah.
He probably faked the temperature, put it under the lamp, because, like, 6 different shows did that in the late 80s, early 90s.
Ferris Bueller did it.
They all did it. And he's home. And at the end of the episode, he, like, realized that, like, even though he wasn't at school, like, something happened at school. Like, he got a call on the phone from his friend, like, this happened at school. And, like, he's like, wait. The garbage man's coming anyway. This happened at school. The world happens without me. And I think little, like, 8-year-old me was just like, holy shit. And now I think about existentialism 15% of my life.
That's also just a stage of development, though.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get to that stage of development to realize there is a world around you. Mm-hmm. I was talking about that with Bree the other day. I was like, I can understand that children are children, but I also can be fired up when I watch a kid between 5 and, let's say, around even like 11 or 12 walk in the middle of a parking lot and have no fucking clue about what is happening around them.
Yeah.
They could hear a car revving its engine right behind them.
They don't even realize that, like, that could kill them.
Right. They have no... And that's just like a stage of development.
Right.
So, while I agree that you are someone that definitely thinks of existentialism all the time, I think the stage in life where you go, oh, the world doesn't revolve around me, like, that happens to all of us.
But I think I just took that to heart, because, like, that's what started about me being like, oh man, like, everything I know is totally different.
You got seriously paranoid about it.
Right. And, like, just knowing that, like, somebody could cure cancer, and it's great, and then they fucking die, and their name goes in a book, and they cover them for 3 seconds in a history portion of a class, and, like, that's it. They're just dead in the ground.
This is true.
They solved one of the world's biggest problems, and they're just dead in the ground like everybody else. It's like when my mom's cousin works at NASA, right?
Yeah.
So we'd go to Kennedy Space Center, and we'd, like, meet an astronaut, have lunch with an astronaut, and we could just ask him questions and stuff. And he's like, yeah, it's nuts. Like, I'm on the space station for like a year, and I come back home, and my wife gives me a hug and then asks me to take the trash out. And I'm like, I'm a fucking astronaut. Like, I just came back from space. And she's just like, I don't care. Take the trash out. It needs to go out. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, like, it's just like crazy. Like, he's this awesome explorer and pioneer, and he's still got to deal with the rest of the shit like the rest of us.
Of course he does.
Yeah. This is wild. So anyway, Mastodon, their lyrics are good and bad. There's only one more lyric, and it says, I can't clean the blood. I can't clean this blood. So you and I, we could expire right here and now. Wouldn't matter at all. I can't clean this blood. What an ending. Right. There's a lot of song left, too.
Right. Well, they go into, from what I remember, they go into quite the instrumental part here. Yeah, but, like, he's obviously got something in his brain when he writes this song, which is the beauty of music. We can take these lyrics a number of different ways. But,
like we did. You saw it as a happy thing. I'm just taking into context the cold, dark place and how I feel about existentialism.
With what he wrote, something has probably tragically happened. Right. And I'm thinking, even though whatever tragically
you're isolating that one spot, and you can find a beauty in it.
Right.
Right.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I can't clean this blood off my hands. I can't get the stains out. I try.
I didn't have my lyrics fully loaded, so there actually is more lyrics.
But maybe if we look ahead, we can clear this wreck to the side.
This is a southern rock riff. I mean, underneath, like, the solo's taking the part, but if you actually listen to the riff, it's very southern rock. It's like Leonard Skinner playing back.
Yeah, I'm listening to a southern rock song right now. Yeah. with like darker overtones.
Right. But that riff itself, if you isolate that riff, it's totally southern rock.
Yeah. I'm refusing to overanalyze this. This song at this point, even for the beginning part, is a southern rock song with like dark.
It's emo southern rock.
Yeah, like it is. It is. I think I won the lyrics game. And I'm going to tell you why. The last lyric of this song says, "Death has been shattered from sun." Mm-hmm. We read the part where they talked about, I can't clean this blood off my hands. There's a tragedy going on.
So let's read that because I thought it just ended with, I can't clean this blood. So it's, I can't clean this blood off my hands. I can't get the stains out. I tried. But maybe if we look ahead, we can clear this wreck to the side. So he was feeling existential because we can die and it won't matter at all. But he's trying. He's trying now, right?
I think he's in the middle of it.
Okay.
Like, there is something clearly terrible that has occurred, but he also feels a beauty, maybe not in the moment, but with the person, or with the moment he was experiencing with that person when this tragedy occurred. The world starts beginning to slow. That's the next lyric line. So he's thinking about what is going on around him in a deeper sense. Rust and bone come up from the ground. That's just a way of, to me, saying that, like, this person that is dead is starting to be more vivid in his brain. Okay. Like, they're not buried anymore.
So he was in his feels and now he's getting out of it.
Right. Come here and disguise me as love. And then this last line I love. Death has been shattered from sun. This is my way of saying light is breaking apart the darkness that is someone
Death has
passing
been
away.
shattered from sun. Right. So the shattered from sun. So the sun.
The sun is breaking apart
All the fields.
bleakness. Right.
So he sees a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
Figuratively and literally.
Right.
And he's going to break out. So yeah, I mean
that could be how I'm choosing to read this.
Well, no. This makes sense because, but that's, you know what? Here's the thing. We're shitting all over these lyrics, right?
These ones are good.
We're shitting all over these lyrics, but we both had it right in the middle of the song for different reasons. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah.
So now, this is the thing about writing is like your words don't even have to be deep, but the concept that you come up with,
the concept has to be deep
ends up working out.
Right. No, that's sweet.
I mean, we're also 2 IPAs in, but
I think we would.
I think we're on it. I'm going to just say that we're smart. And everyone else is dumb except for us.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I
except
generally...
for our listeners, obviously.
I revert back to I'm smart and everyone else is stupid pretty generally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It immediately goes into an uplifting riff. Appropriate to have some blues riffs in there right now. That's just a blues song that you see.
Blues and southern rock, they go hand in hand.
That's like when I was in New Orleans, every bar you went to had a guy at one point in the song just playing that like roaring like you get the stink face for a different reason though. So what's your thoughts, Matt?
I mean, so it's going to be a different perspective on this song because I've heard this one before. But, I mean, I love this song and love all 4 songs on this EP and can put it on a long drive or while I'm grading papers or while I'm cleaning the house. Like, it just gives me you are transported to just like another place with this little set of songs. Like, yeah, it's awesome. I get a similar feeling listening to this EP than I get to listening to like peak Opeth. Remember we did Opeth? Yep. Like you listen to some of their stuff and it puts you right in that kind of melancholy. Am I translating that word correctly? I don't think melancholy is pure joy. Put that on the Google machine. Zach's currently looking it up on Google. Melancholy.
A feeling of pensive sadness, typically with no obvious cause.
Right. So it's like...
That goes hand in hand.
Yeah, there isn't a happiness to it, but like, I can be weirdly, subconsciously happy with just like letting myself...
Happy in the sadness.
Yeah, being just like in the moment with those songs. And like, I'm not a person, and Zach would know this, I'm not a person that's like outwardly sad almost ever. But I think it's because I can find those moments where I just kind of like own it for a little bit. And songs like this, songs like what Opeth does, help me engage with that part of my emotions. And I don't read the lyrics a whole ton, but we just went through the lyrics to that song and they
the feeling of the song
fit what the song was giving you.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's how I felt when I've listened to the song and then reading the lyrics like, oh, okay, that's kind of where it's going.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful song. And they're clearly talented. They run the gamut. They are good at everything they've really tried to do, and they're one of a million bands as we do this podcast that I'm probably at the end of an episode going to sit here and say that I need to listen to them more, and I'm going to try to listen to them more because I enjoy it. And I only have so much time in the day, but they're fun. And I can't say enough good things about these guys. This was a lot of fun to do. So yeah, that's my stance on what's going on. How did you feel about how those songs played together? Did it tell the story that you think it was going to tell?
I wanted to show kind of the evolution of the band from super duper heavy and simpler, even though it was still complex, even though it was
in its own way.
Yeah. And just to where they came now. And again, this last song on this EP is like its own little side. It's like I kind of see it as like a little side project. They still put it out under the Mastodon name, and it definitely is Mastodon, but it's not really in line with any of their other stuff. But it is, because it's that, I don't know. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't think, whereas you see full-length albums, you can kind of see where they're trending. I didn't see this as them trending towards this. I saw this as just an experiment that they wanted to do, and they just did it because they can. They have the resources available to them. They
and they didn't try to hide it. They didn't try to hide it as anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't sell it to you as anything except for what it was. And that's what's really, really cool.
All right, man. So if we don't have anything else to say about this...
What I want to do for fun...
Uh-oh.
We're going to have to cut some silence out of in post, but I want to launch this... where's your YouTube music here?
It's right there.
I want to listen to the beginning riff of the new song that came out last year. There's something Torches. Fallen Torches.
Okay.
Because I think I remember hearing this beginning, the riff was very reminiscent of the early stuff.
Okay.
And if it's not and I'm wrong, you're just going to cut this whole part out.
All right. We'll see. When you guys listen to the episode, you'll see if Zach sucks.
All right. So as you can hear, this is exactly like their older stuff, at least at the beginning. And I just wanted to play that riff because I remember hearing it and being like, "Whoa! If they trend back this way with their, you obviously get better at your instruments throughout like a 20-year career.
Yeah.
So like if they can play the style of their old stuff with all their now musical knowledge, that shit's gonna be fucking fire.
Very cool.
Anyway, you guys should check out Mastodon because they're really fucking cool. We're going to end this thing and maybe have another beer. But pandemic's still on. Get vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, wash your hands, wear a mask, be safe, make smart choices, open your third eye.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick and keep your third eye open. That's what we're going to put as a tagline on our podcast, I think. What? Don't be a dick and keep your third eye open.
I agree. All right. Adios, listeners.